What does life mean? What is life? And today's story, we are featuring Blessing Johansson, the author of the book. Welcome to the story of today. We all know that life is a riddle, one we are constantly trying to understand. We search for answers. We search for meanings. We search for something that makes a sense of our life experiences. And yet, as different as our lives may look, in my understanding, I believe there are 4 core elements that shapes every human story. And we usually start with a home, life itself, charity, and legacy, or our voices. A home is where our story begins, not always as a safe place, not always love, but the place that shapes who we become. I mean, you can go anywhere around the world and the first thing if you meet a person, they will ask, where do you come from? What they mean actually, they wish you to answer with your origin, which part of the world or which part of the universe that you come from. And that labels us and defines our home and who we are and where we belong. But life, that's the most riddle that everyone is searching an answer. Life unfolds whether we are ready or not. It stretches us, breaks us, teaches us, and sometimes surprises us with a purpose. Those who do things that they like in their lives, they call it purpose. But is life a purpose really? What is life? What does life mean? Perhaps you can share with me. And then there is charity. I believe this is how we survive. And sometimes I don't understand. Why do other people have this, other people have that? Some have it more, some have it less. Who decides this and why? I'm sure no one chose to have it less. No one chose pain in this life. But anyway, in order for us to survive, we create projects, we create ideas to support one another, to see life less alone, and we call it charity. Some people use charity to clean up their names. Some people use charity religiously, and some people call it the good thing to do while we are alive. But is doing charity really a good thing? How should it be done? Let me know if you have your own idea. But then comes the legacy. Especially in the world we are living in today. Everyone is looking for fame. Everyone is looking to be known for doing something. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to motivate and to change someone's life. But above all, I do think we are all searching a meaning of our lives. Something that we can leave behind and say, somebody was here. Something that can define our names. And that's what we call legacy. Welcome to a book series where I will be sharing a couple of stories from this beautiful book called A Piece of My Life Story, You Are Not Alone. It's a book that features nearly 30 people, real, true lived life experiences, and they're sharing their ups and downs in life to inspire you and motivate you. And each and everyone in this book shared and explained how they experienced these core force of life. They are explaining home. They're explaining life itself and how it felt in their lives. They are also explaining their triumph in life, how they experienced the ups and downs of their lives, as well as their understanding of charity, whether it's worth it or not, and why and how they live while practicing this activity of charity. If you ever felt unseen, or if you haven't felt alone in what you are carrying, I just want you to hear my voice in this space, that you are not alone, and you are never alone, and you will never be alone. Welcome to A Piece of My Life Story book series. But before you hear the stories of others who are in this book, like Emilia, Devota, Josh, Joshua, Shana, Irina, Kevin, Tiffany, Frank, Patricia, Shana, and many, 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 many more, 30 people that are in this book, I want you to understand why this book exists. It begins with one story, and that story is mine, the author of this book. My name is Blessing Johansson. I was born to African parents, a Tanzanian father and a Ugandan mother, but I lost my mother before I ever truly knew what mother's love felt like. Home for me was not one house. It was many homes, many hands, many transitions. I was raised by a village, sisters who became mothers, neighbors who became protectors, communities that stepped in when they didn't have to. Home didn't look stable, but somehow love still found me. A lot unfold on home part. So in the book, I expanded a little bit more and invited you to see how I experienced what is called home with my stepmother. Eventually later, my life was nurtured by a German family. And then later, I became an international child who moved country to countries and explore life in a beautiful way. So I welcome you to read my story in the book so you can get to know why and how I understand what home means. But when it comes to life, when life wasn't gentle, life taught me early that children can carry pain quietly. As I grow up moving home to home, I built my own feelings, my own understandings of life as a child. I built fear, I built anxiety. I collected home experiences from every home that I was moved to. And that fear can look like silence. But as I grow up, I just realized on my childhood experiencing that movement, I built a childhood trauma. And that trauma doesn't always scream. Sometimes trauma hides and waits until you grow up to understand it. I experienced the loss, abuse, shame, and confusion before I had words for any of it. As children, we grow by collecting dots. We collect. And when we grow up, we start connecting those dots to find meaning. And when I started connecting the dots I have collected during my childhood, that's the way I realized there was a childhood trauma. So my story is titled as Healing My Childhood Trauma. But above all, even in the darkest moments, I now see that I was never truly abandoned. Life was shaping me, even when in my childhood it hurt. But as I grow, I understand I was such a beautiful and blessed child whom God put in many people's hands to rise and shape who I have become today. My understanding about charity, I would say it's an act of kindness, because I define and see it from each and every hand that held me through my growth journey. Charity didn't come to me as a charity. It came as people. A sister who gave up her childhood so I could live. A stranger who opened their hearts without obligations so that I can enjoy this universe. Teachers, mentors, and the guardians who believed in my future before I even knew myself. But they sacrificed more than I can tell you so I can become who I am today. God showed up for me through human beings, and indeed, I saw God's hands. I was not adopted, but I was loved. Not by humans, but truly loved by God. And that love became the bridge that carried me forward to the day I'm sharing my life experience with you today. What does legacy mean to me? Oh dear. I share this story because healing is possible. Because your beginning does not define your ending. And because even if life breaks you early on your childhood, it does not get to silence you. So if you are someone who have experienced the childhood trauma, abuse, or any kind of unfairness in your childhood journey to become who you are, I want to encourage you and tell you it does not get to silence you. It was only opening doors for you to find who you are. Flash forward, I followed love across borders. I rebuilt my life in a foreign country. And right now, as I air my voice out, I live in Sweden, married to a Swedish man whom I love dearly. I started my life from scratch after I spent lots of energy and lots of search to build it. And I let it go and started from scratch again, piece by piece. Built myself and continuing to build myself right now. And now I lend my voice so others can feel safe enough to lend theirs to those who need them as well. So I wrote this book, and this book holds many voices. In this book, you will hear many stories of surviving darkness and choosing life, of rebuilding after broken relationships, stories of faith, stories of grief, stories of motherhood, migrations, identity, purpose, and hope, mental health, suicides, and many more I can tell you in this book. While I summarize my book, I invite you to get this book, and the link is on our bio, to be able to read and be inspired by many of these stories, beautiful stories that are in this book. And I do believe that this book will inspire you to see life beautifully and know that you are never alone, and tomorrow is way, 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 way better than you can imagine. Every contributor in this book shares one of the same pillars: home, life, their triumphs, charity, and their legacy. Different lives, same human questions, different answers. So you won't be disappointed if you buy this book. And this piece of a story is only the beginning. So inside a piece of my life story, you will find stories that may feel like your own, even when they come from someone completely different. If this story that I just highlighted made you where you are, I invite you to read the whole story in the book and let these stories remind you that you are worth it. You are worth living. And also, I just wanted to remind you, this is just a highlight of the story. A full story, and to go deeper on the triumph of Blessing's lives, get the book and let me know how you find it. I wish you a beautiful, 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 beautiful life as God intended to bring you in this universe. Just to know that you are exactly what the universe have been waiting for, and your life is worth it. So celebrate, enjoy it, and share it fiercely. Bye-bye. See you on the next story.